Hi, it's Jeff.
And Denise from Mousesteps.com.
And this is episode number 362
362.
of Mousesteps Weekly.
Sponsored by MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. 2021 vacation packages are available to book as well as hotels for this year. Not all, though, at Walt Disney World, which is another reason it really helps to have an authorized Disney vacation planner. Especially with so many years in business. They have been in business for about 21 years now.
And I agree, it's definitely good to have somebody like them in your corner. Just this week, Universal announced they're temporarily closing 2 of their resorts.
Right, including Sapphire Falls, which is such a beautiful resort. So really disappointing, but it's just temporary.
So anyway, check them out, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel. We're going to start the show at Epcot. Here is a look at the original Epcot Center entrance area, and these are the pylons, the classic pylons with the original Epcot logo that you would see. It was on a fountain as you walked in. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah, it's been a very long time, so it really is not something that I think about that much because the Leave a Legacy was there for 20 years. But it's really exciting to have Leave a Legacy gone for number one because I never liked it. I know some did, but so...
I don't know many that did.
Some did.
It's really nice. It's more like a park now. It's a very relaxed area. And this, having the pylons, which look very, very much like the originals, returning, I think, is wonderful.
Well, there's 3 acrylic pylons over 16 feet tall, more than 4,000 pounds each, I think. And similar to the previous ones, not exactly. But I guess they really tried to get that inspiration there, and I'm looking forward to seeing when the front entrance area is open again. I just like the openness of it now.
And when you looked at it, you would see the base of this. We've seen some shots from above, and the base is the former base, the big fountain that used to be there. So it won't be an exact duplicate of the original. But I agree with you. I like the whole entranceway. And one thing about that concept art, if you remember, they showed topiary and things. So I wonder if that will actually happen. That would be very nice.
I thought it looked really good in the concept art. So we'll see. These are Disney photos.
Just this one photo there.
Oh, you just did one of them from Zach Ridley, an Imagineer, who had posted on his Instagram, and he seems to post a lot on his Instagram now about different things.
So here is a relaxation station in Future World we have not noticed before, and we've been to Epcot about 5 times now. It's unbelievable.
We don't go to Mission Space, and we walk past near here, but not that close where we would just necessarily notice it. So we were walking just a little bit towards the play pavilion. It's like, oh look, a relaxation station,
and a good one with shade. I will use this one from here on in if we need to take a little break. And it was nice because we were able to see some construction work going on. This is the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster building, the former Universe of Energy, and it looks like they're doing some work on the roof.
Right. Cosmic Rewind, Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind will be here. And anytime, this was like our 5th time to Epcot since the reopening about a month ago, and we have not seen any construction going on any of the days that we walked in. So it was really nice. Like the Play Pavilion here had work going on, and Cosmic Rewind did. The only place that we've really seen construction going on, I think Mouse Gear, the old Mouse Gear, and then also the France Pavilion.
And it looks to me like maybe they are covering up the old skylights. I guess we'll find out when it opens.
And so the Play Pavilion is going to be an immersive and interactive city to explore, create, and interact with favorite Disney characters. So it'll be interesting to see what that will mean for it.
And here's the entrance area, and this would usually be a festival center around this time. We'd had some good times there for Flower and Garden, Food and Wine festival centers.
Yeah, we would make plants, or plant plants, and then you get to take them home, and we used to have a ton of plants. But I always enjoyed the festival center.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing the Play Pavilion and what goes on. So we decided to take a walk around World Showcase, and the first thing we came across was the princesses here coming out around Morocco, and we have not seen them in this area before, and it was perfect timing.
And really, our day was very changed we weren't even planning to spend as much time in Epcot as we did. We were planning to go over to a couple resorts, but the Skyliner was down really much of the afternoon. So we ended up around World Showcase, and there is Snow White and Sleeping Beauty and Belle, of course, the princesses of World Showcase.
And I thought this was a really nice shot going over the bridge. And I wanted to mention, notice that they have the little plexiglass, not plexiglass,
it's like
plastic between them, so the social distancing remains. They seem to be the exact same things that we'll be seeing later on at the land boat ride.
Right, and Living with the Land used to not have any. So they really have been making additions since the parks opened.
It is interesting to see horses going around World Showcase. That's something I did not expect for 2020.
Well, we haven't seen any sort of cavalcade, parade, anything around World Showcase like this in many years.
20 years, probably.
Probably, almost, not quite, but yeah.
Around the millennium time.
So, they have 3 different motorcades here. And it's funny because sometimes you don't really necessarily see them. Let's say you could be in World Showcase a half hour and you don't see anything. Here, in 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, we saw all 3.
Yeah, like you
So
said,
you never know.
Timing is everything. And this was right after another thunderstorm, so I guess they were trying to get them in. But I always love seeing Mickey and Minnie, and especially with Spaceship Earth in the background. It's a classic.
And I don't think we had a thunderstorm. It was like lightning was in the
Threatening,
area.
yeah, threatening of lightning. That's what it was.
All day. Lightning, that's why the Disney Skyliner was down so much. And here is Elsa leading the Frozen Promenade.
I mean, you have to understand, this was so soon after. As soon as the princess music, or I'm sorry, the Mickey and Friends music died down, the Frozen music came on, and I'm like, oh, they must be the Frozen characters coming around.
Right. I mean, it was really quick, which is for us, we haven't seen it this quick. Maybe a couple of them, but not all 3.
And this was very, very exciting. One of the torches, the original torches from Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, I guess they are staying and they'll be part of the new show.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to see it, lit up. We haven't seen fire coming out of it in quite some time now.
Yeah, it was really exciting. One of those things that you just happen to see, and it was only for a moment. You could see as I am panning out, the cast member that was testing it is kind of climbing over the railing there. I guess he was done testing it. So interesting.
So it was. I don't know if you noticed, compared to our previous visits, it was a little busier on this day. It wasn't busy, just busier. Relative to what we had experienced. And this was on a Thursday, and I know the studios was pretty brisk that day.
And we're taking a look at the Lotus Blossom Cafe. This is a place that we would actually patronize on occasion, and maybe they're getting ready. It looked like they were doing something.
They were doing something in the back, and I don't know what, but the House of Good Fortune just opened about a week ago, so we went in and, and still a number of the restaurants, including counter service, are not open around World Showcase. Some of them are, and a number of table service also are closed. So, like China right now, everything's pretty much closed. But it's nice to see House of Good Fortune open.
And you can see all the outside vendors. They are right now down. And it was also very interesting to notice that everything is one way. You had to go around this way to the one entrance, and then there were 2 or maybe even 3 exits throughout the store, but only one entrance. So they're trying to keep it as
all
a
the way in the back,
probably for distancing measures.
And so we're just walking in, and really I found some fun merchandise like Shanghai Disneyland items and everything. It's really I love walking through the stores of World Showcase. That's one of my favorite things to do, and obviously sometimes to buy. So it was fun to find some items, including also, here's the Shanghai Disneyland merchandise that's still here.
Grand opening.
Yeah.
They still have those grand opening
several
bags.
years later. It used to be in the back, so more of the back of the store, and also the Year of the Rat.
I think Disney tried to call it the Year of the Mouse.
They did, and like there's a Spirit jersey, which is on the other side of this. These are items that were sold in like January, February, even online briefly on Shop Disney, and so these are available now, and like Disney California Adventure actually has Lunar New Year events,
And it looks great.
It does look
I would
great.
love to attend that one of these years.
Maybe next year we can do it. So, but this merchandise was there, and then they brought it here also, even though we really don't celebrate Lunar New Year at Walt Disney World at all. But now it's here in case anybody's looking for merchandise.
And here's where we walked out, and this is now exit only. As I said, it's one way. So as we walked around World Showcase, I noticed there was a big line forming, and that is for the Frozen Ever After ride.
But it's probably only like a half hour or something. It's so, I mean, everybody's like 6 feet away from each other, plus there's no fast pass.
Right. It's not as long as it looks, certainly.
Right. The line, it does look long, but it's not nearly as bad as it could be.
Well, I thought it was an interesting contrast because you have that one single, very organized line, but then on the other side here, it looks deserted. I mean, there is nobody around the store. The shop up here is closed, and there's this little courtyard area that we thought maybe would be a nice place to set up some kind of vending. And this is also where they would have some of the topiary in the past.
Well, I had said online, like some tables and even some chairs and such. Like this would be a nice outdoor area to enjoy some food.
So now we're going to show some rides. We haven't ridden much at Epcot in our visits before, and since there wasn't much of a line here,
there wasn't any line.
Journey into Imagination, we're going to take a little ride, and we're going to show you, as you just mentioned, it was a walk-on. At no point did my feet stop until we hit the ride vehicle.
And I would love to see this updated. I mean, there's other reasons we don't, ride this too often.
Well, we suffer from our memories of the original, which was such a classic, wonderful attraction.
Even if we didn't have memories of the original, I mean, yes, it was a better attraction back then. But you know what? There was no wait, and it was nice to get, into some air conditioning.
Well, it's fun. I actually enjoyed it because it had been such a long time since we've ridden this. And one of the other highlights is the skunk smell was turned off, so we didn't have to
No,
have
I
that.
thought that was on. No.
Did you smell it?
I thought I smelled it.
Oh, maybe my mask is better than I think.
That's possible. I think I smelled it. So, of course, Figment is here, and,
This is your favorite part coming up. The change from the screens here to the big finale when it makes that big loud noise. You always cover your face.
I always move my head down because I don't like being blasted with air in the face. Like, anything like that is something that annoys me. So, I always put my head down for that final.
But this is my favorite part. It's the most like the original, so I'm always happy to see all these great figments.
And, you do the whole social distancing thing, but we're still with other people. I think it's like us, and then...
We all had our own vehicle, which was nice.
You all have your own vehicle, but you're sort of next to each other because of the way the vehicles are... the guests in the next vehicle had their masks still on.
Right, so you can see right here that... we're not that far away, but I felt very comfortable. And as we exited there, I saw this funny little bear out in the grass. And I love these interactions. We've showed this in the past, but every time you see him, it's a little different.
It is really fun to watch. And I guess we lucked out because there wasn't really too many guests over here. And all of a sudden, like a lot of guests saw him. And then it got a little bit busier. But it was, it's a really cute interaction. And he'll come up towards guests also. Not so much as Joy did, I think, when we've seen her.
Well, Pooh seems to be posing for this lady here with a camera. So I thought that was very interesting.
I'm not quite
sure. It is you. Yeah, because you had some really great pictures.
I was just taking some pictures. I don't know what's going. You know what? I didn't even think about it.
So this was kind of sad, though. They took away the little garden that was here, that was sort of left over from the flower and garden where the butterfly tent used to be.
Well, it was. I mean, they took the butterfly tent off of it, and it was still there. And it is. I was hoping that they would leave it for longer, but we still saw butterflies, around Epcot.
Yeah, maybe that's why we saw butterflies at the other place, because they took away the former tent. They all had to fly the coop.
I think butterflies are just around.
So we decided to go into the land, and we wanted to go and check out the land boat ride, which we did first. So we'll take a look at that, and you can kind of get an idea of what kind of crowd. Not too busy here in the land.
Yeah, actually it was fairly empty. The most of the guests that we saw were in World Showcase. So Garden Grill is open. You have Living with the Land, which is open. And at this time, there was like nobody there. So we went down, and all of a sudden, like 20 people showed up, like
Yeah.
right at that time.
It really was a walk-on, and you can see they now have these new, as we said with the princesses, the little dividers, plastic dividers.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of them. Like, if you're just wanting to see things, I would rather have like every other row maybe be filled. Like, you know what? There's no perfect solution these days. So I'm just happy to go. I'm just gonna say I'm happy to get on the boat ride.
Right. I'm not a fan of the dividers either, but I would rather have dividers than not be able to go on the ride. And, we're still able to see some of our favorite parts. And my favorite part is coming up, this little welcome back sign.
And so the last time that we rode Living with the Land was a couple weeks ago probably, and there were no dividers.
Right.
So they would, put guests, I don't know if they put us every other.
Yeah, at that time they did every other row, and we happened to have the front row that time.
But you can see, like, they could have loaded. There's 2 boats ahead of us, I guess, with nobody in them.
Yeah, you had a full of two little boat connected in front and behind, so a lot of empty space.
Yeah, it would have been nice to just sort of spread everybody out. So then we rode Soarin'. This was the first time we've ridden Soarin' since the park reopened.
Now this clip here was taken on our way out, so it looks very crowded here, but when we were down there was nobody, and the line said 10 minutes for Soarin', something like that. So why not?
So it was probably like less than 15, and we just walked through. And it's funny because you were saying how it looks crowded there, but I bet to a lot of viewers it doesn't look crowded at all.
No.
What looks crowded to us is going to be very different from those who haven't been to the parks.
I remember years past, we would have been in that room with wall to wall, filling all the available space people, and it was not a big deal. So, I mean, comparatively, this is really, really empty.
And I mean, we did stop for like up to 10 minutes in one hallway, and then we came around here, and then a couple minutes later we went into ride.
But they did a great job as far as separating. You had the plexiglass there. Everybody kept their distance, except here our row was coming in, and the row in front of us thought that there was no more people from our row, and they kind of went ahead. But it was okay.
I didn't even notice.
And this is what they have as a divider. It's a little plastic spacer, but I really thought it was great because you had 2 guests on the end over on that side, and then the 2 of us on the far end on the other side, and that was it. So they only load 2 parties per glider, which is very good.
I didn't realize it was 2 parties, but it was nice. We weren't really near anybody, and everybody kept their masks on, to my knowledge.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. No, I would definitely. I think you can put up to 4 people on one, and then 2 guests on the far side.
I wish we had the old Soarin' though.
Yeah,
like we've gotten to ride it at Disney California
Soarin',
Adventure.
the new one.
So here is Mary Poppins. We had not seen Mary Poppins yet. We've seen Alice in Wonderland several times, and they swap out. Yes, at behind the United Kingdom Pavilion where the bands have played in the past.
In the gazebo, yeah. And she, I mentioned that she had a very nice umbrella, and she corrected me. That is a parasol, but she said she can still take it for a little flight. So she was great. We had a really nice interaction with Mary Poppins.
She was fantastic, and so we weren't looking. We didn't think we were going to see her because it might be like 6 p.m. or something. The characters were staying out later than I thought they do.
I think because of the whole lightning thing, I think they were not able to come out for a big part of the day, and then all of a sudden, boom, they were able to come out for a short time. So that's why we saw them all so fast.
Yeah, I actually have no idea what their normal times are. So here is nighttime at Epcot.
Well, let's mention we had a very nice dinner, the exact same dinner, so we didn't show it, but the same one as last week.
That was the brisket, and then the burnt ends, baked beans and onion rings.
It was so good.
It was really good.
And then it rained, so we waited out the rain, and when we were walking out, we pretty much had World Showcase to ourselves.
It was really odd because right before it actually finally rained, because it had been threatening all day. It was fairly brisk, a good amount of people, and all of a sudden, within a half hour, there was like almost nobody in the park anymore. And that is, again, nothing's keeping guests there. It's like, okay, it's about to rain, and then they leave.
At one point, I told you, what time do you think it is? And you thought it was maybe 9:30, 9:40, and it was 9:15.
Yeah,
it was so unbelievable how quick it emptied out.
Yeah, and we ended up leaving a little earlier than we thought because the evening was done.
Yeah. So here we're just taking a look at some of the nighttime shots. We're getting closer to Spaceship Earth, and we'll take one last look at the pylons, which are not illuminated yet, but there was another official Disney picture that had them lit. So looks very nice there at night.
Yeah, and it's always nice to be in Epcot, and we're going to be in Epcot again tomorrow.
Yeah, I cannot wait. Never am I not excited about Epcot. Now, though, we're going to move over to Universal Orlando and Islands of Adventure.
And we hadn't been to Universal in probably like 6 weeks or something. Once the Disney parks open, we only go to the parks or Disney Springs usually a couple times a week, usually twice. And usually one of those is Epcot. So
we're going to take a look, and we'll give you some news while we're looking at this. But this was the unannounced Jurassic Park roller coaster, and we're taking a look at the updated construction on the track.
It's pretty exciting. I mean, even while the park was closed here, they continued on with the coaster. So it was like when you entered the park for the first time back in, oh my gosh, was it May? It had been continuing for those couple of months. I have no idea when it's going to open. And you can see it was threatening rain. We left during a rainstorm on this day, too.
That's right. Well, it's Florida. You're going to get your rain. But anyway, while we're looking at this interesting construction montage here, why don't you give us some late news on Universal?
Well, you already sort of mentioned it earlier. Sapphire Falls and Aventura, which is right next to Sapphire Falls, are going to close temporarily as of August 21st. I have no idea for how long. They haven't announced that. I would assume probably September is always a fairly slow month here anyway, so we're going to look through September. And when you look at what Disney did with like Disney's Art of Animation will not be reopening till at least November 1st. I think you can it's probably going to be at least a couple of months until those reopen again, at least.
Right. And just like Disney, in September, the hours are going to be adjusted at the Universal parks, 1 hour less for each park for most of September.
However, I mean, like over the weekend now, because the parks are actually quite busy this weekend at Universal, they extended the hours,
for
so
the next,
you never know.
I think next 2 or 3 Saturdays. And actually, yesterday, they did they called it sort of a soft extension where they kept the park open an hour later and all the rides open. They just didn't announce it, but if you had been there. So now we're going to take a look at one of the little bonus food items at the Fantastic Four Cafe here.
And we didn't order them. Our friend Matt ordered one
from Attractions Magazine.
Yes, from Attractions Magazine. He was just wanting to try the pass holder item. And so I think it's because he waited so long. They ended up bringing several of them out, so we got our own as well.
And this was really good. This was the specialty fries, and it was a margarita pizza fries. So if you like margarita pizza, you probably like those fries. It was perfect.
They were okay. I mean, I just generally like my fries as fries and not dipped in stuff.
Well, what I meant is it was perfect timing because we were starving.
We were pretty hungry. So because we were still hungry, we actually were planning to have lunch, and we didn't know where we were going to have lunch. And while we were having our fries, we decided to try Mythos, and I didn't realize Mythos has outdoor seating. So we took outdoor seating in the back.
Yeah, we didn't expect to necessarily get in. And look at this. Theme Park Insider has voted it the world's best theme park restaurant. That sign has been there for 20 years, I think.
I don't think 20, but it's been there for a long time. And this is a really beautiful restaurant. We have dined here before.
Inside, yeah.
Inside, but not, maybe a couple of years ago was the last time. And it was really nice to be back, even though we weren't eating inside.
And again, this was a walk-up, and I think because we wanted outside, we were able to get in even faster. They said, "Oh, we can accommodate that," and I didn't see anyone else while we were there eating outside.
Nobody else.
It was very hot out. It was at least I think Jackie was saying it was something like 96 degrees, so it was extremely hot. But we ate right up there on the top of the steps off in a corner there, so we had shade, and it was actually quite comfortable for 96.
It did, and so I wouldn't dine
This is
down
our view,
there.
by the way. This is the view from my seat right there.
I wouldn't dine down there with the other tables, but you can see here it was actually very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
That table right there somebody had been there right before we sat down.
Right.
And
So
there
they had
was
to
our
clean
bread.
it up.
I loved being able to do this. They gave us a long table, so we were at opposite ends. We only eat outside right now, and
Here is a change from the last time, though. There is no specialty butter.
no, it's just a big. You know what?
Used
It's
to
still
have a
good butter.
special Mythos butter that was like hard and really nice. It was shaped like Mythos. And
Well, all of them used to have special butter, and there is we got a Caesar salad
to share.
Yeah, to share, and then we each had our own entree.
So yeah, as you said, it was just perfect. It's nice. The whole thing is, it's just nice to know that you have a good outside option for dining there. And this is the chicken. You really like this chicken,
Yeah,
I think.
this was the brick oven chicken. It cost $18, and we get our annual pass holder discount.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. You had some of it, very juicy. And then I would have loved a few more potatoes, but I just had fries, so it wasn't a big deal. I just like those type of potatoes. So and then of course there's just a little bit of other vegetables, but it really is a nice presentation, and the food was excellent. I was really happy with it. And you had the cheeseburger. We actually split these, and the burger was really good as well.
So what kind was this? This was just a single burger, right? Like
Right.
a half-pound burger?
It's a half pound. Yeah, it's just a half pound, a half pound cheeseburger, and it was $16.
And
I
more
thought it was
fries,
really
because we
good.
didn't have enough fries.
Yes. So yeah, it was. You know what? This was a very nice meal. I think with discount and tip, it was like $50.
Yeah, sit-down meal, $50, and we were there for an hour and a half. I mean,
I don't
that
think
was,
we were there quite that long, but over an
seemed
hour.
like we were there. It was just a very nice, relaxing paced meal.
It was a very, very nice time. It was perfect.
And as you said, we wouldn't be sitting out here in the direct sun, especially in the 90 degree weather. But and it was nice because they gave us the option to leave by walking out the back here. And when we were walking out, we noticed they had some fish and then a big turtle. Look at the size of this guy.
That turtle was so big, and this is one of those soft shell turtles that will bite your finger off if you put your finger near it. Like I have saved them off of the road, but they make me very nervous to grab them. I'll grab them on the back, but I still don't like to do it. But this one was so big. Like I don't remember seeing one this size. I don't know. I don't remember seeing one this size.
Well, it was a very nice surprise, So
Yeah.
it's definitely pays off to take a little stroll around this area. And I'm going to pan up to sort of show where it is.
There's a little one right
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
just like
yeah.
a little, almost like a baby one. It's not like we got to see any, like we saw gators in the neighborhood in the last couple of days too. So
And this
it's
is
cool.
it really is a beautiful restaurant, although this is not
don't-
the best advertisement.
Yeah, I was like, that's not how I feel leaving here. I actually enjoyed my food.
Yeah, but again, it's quite beautiful, and I think in the next shot I'm going to show when you pan down, you can see the windows, and there's actually other people dining in there. And every other time, I think we've been at least twice, maybe more. We've always dined indoors. So again, nice to know of this option.
I mean, through the years, I've dined there at other times as well. Yeah, and okay, so Poseidon's Fury, as well as a number of other attractions like Fast and Furious, Fear Factor, are temporarily closed at this point. They probably weren't very busy. These aren't attractions none of them are ones that we would normally go in.
I don't think
or
we've been
ride.
on
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
No.
We've seen enough in Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. So that one I don't like. And so I don't need to ride it here as well. Now, on our way out, there were several characters, Grinch and Sam I Am and the Lorax, and they were really fun. These distance meet and greets to me are often more fun than actually meeting them in person, to actually go up to them, or I don't need to hug them.
Right.
So, and they just are fun.
Yeah, it adds something to it. Adds character, you
It
would
does,
say.
yes.
But it's just nice to be able to walk around and see them. And Universal does a fine job of that. Even though it says the adventure begins, our adventure was ending and we are out of here because this time it really did get us with a big thunderstorm and a lot of rain. So we made it to the car
Just like
just in
Epcot.
time.
Just like in Epcot.
So that is another show. Thank you to our sponsor, MEI Travel and Mouse Fan Travel and Universal Fan Travel.
Yep, check them out. And if you're planning to book, we're not saying come now, but if you're planning to book for 2021, I think Disney Cruise Line has availability at some point, but, obviously they're not, it's going to be a while till they're running again.
Right.
But definitely check them out, see what's available. And like right now, and I'm just going to talk, there's really only, as far as resorts open, we have one value, and that's Pop Century, one moderate, and that's Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort, and then, of course, all the DVC resorts and a few deluxe resorts. The Pop Century's not, or Polynesian's not going to be opening quite yet at this point. It was supposed to open on August 12th, as was Disney's Art of Animation. It was kind of sad to go to Pop Century and look over at Art of Animation and know it's not going to be open for, at least a couple more months. So it really helps to have, a travel agent and who will have knowledge about what is open, because things change like all the time.
Right, absolutely. So MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. This week we have plans to go to Epcot tomorrow. We're going to check out some resorts while we're over there, including the Caribbean Beach that just reopened a week or two ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were planning to do this past week. We weren't planning to have some kind of, full afternoon over at Epcot. We were planning a number of hours, but I don't want to say we were stuck there, but we didn't want to take the bus. We want to take the Skyliner, and it was like, you have to be flexible. And so hopefully this time we'll be able to get over.
And we were able to get another park pass, which we didn't think we would be able to get. You just kept trying, and you were able to get another Epcot one.
Yeah, well, actually, first I got Magic Kingdom. It was like, oh, look, Magic Kingdom's open. But then we let that go. I just wanted to go over to Epcot, and we might go Thursday also. Unless that changes, things are always fluid.
And we've had a park pass for about 2 or 3 weeks for Hollywood Studios, and we're going there on Tuesday. So that will be our week this week.
Yeah, and I guess that will be in the afternoon. We don't normally we don't stay all day at the parks. A couple times we have, but generally we do not. We limit our time, but it's really nice to get out and have some food and, have something to put in our calendar and be able to take some, photos. And I'm looking forward to finishing up my photo walk at Pop Century tomorrow.
And I'm very thankful, like you said, very thankful that we're able to do this. And
carefully.
Yes, and safely. That's the whole thing. Number one, as you always say, safety first.
Safety over video. Like, the most important thing is to be safe.
Sometimes I get carried away and I don't realize if there's other guests around, and you'll have to tell me, watch out.
I am always watching. Yes, I'm like, no. So I'm looking forward to, I always look forward to Epcot. I love Epcot because even with more guests, you can stay away from everybody and, enjoy some food. It's been nice to be back at Regal Eagle.
So anyway, thanks again for listening. Have a great week. We'll see you all next week, and stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe. Have a great week.